Hello and welcome to my weekly Roundup. Although it's only been a 4-day week, there has still been plenty going on. At David O'Brien's weekly Net for Biz meeting, instead of a 5-minute presentation, we had an I Also round, where everyone told us about something they do outside of their business. Among our members, we have a scout leader, a mental health first aider, a Womble, a local councillor, a wine expert and a diving instructor. It's always good to learn about people as a whole rather than just their business. It gives you so much more scope for things to talk about, and you may have more in common than you think. On Tuesday morning this week, Clive Loseby from Access by Design held a free workshop on website accessibility. This was such an eye-opening hour and Clive gave away a lot of useful information. But here are just 2 things that I think are really important. The first is that you should never use a click here button on your website because not everybody can click. Not all visitors to your website are using a mouse, so click here is a divisive term. Instead, we should be using something like follow this link, which is more inclusive. The second thing is there's no legal requirement to have a cookie banner, and in fact they can cause real problems in terms of accessibility. If you want to find out why, then I suggest you follow Clive and attend his next free workshop. He's planning to run them monthly. On Tuesday evening, I attended a 3-hour workshop on creating character voices with Jennifer Mitchell from the Midlands Voice Hub. This was a really fascinating session as Jennifer talked a lot about the anatomy and the science behind the noises we make, and she had some great models of the mouth and throat to show how everything works. I will definitely be looking out for more of her workshops. On Wednesday morning, the F Entrepreneur community held a breakfast meeting with Savannah Dodd from the Photography Ethics Centre. This was a session that really made me think. As I expected, Savannah talked about copyright and licensing and the fact that you can't just use any photo online for your own purposes. Just because something is online doesn't mean it's in the public domain and you may not have the right to use it. However, the really interesting point she made is that photos shape the way we see the world. And when we share photos, we're shaping other people's view of the world, so we need to be ethical about this. We need to make sure that our images are not reinforcing a stereotype, for example. Sharing images comes with a lot more responsibility than we perhaps realise. As always, the F Entrepreneur team very generously sent us a gift to enjoy with our webinar, and this time it was a mug from Bear Hug Gifts, which came with tea from Tea Pigs and biscuits from Island Bakery. Thank you very much. At lunchtime on Wednesday, David O'Brien and Michael Hardy, who are business doctors, held a free webinar on the 7 essential business skills for the 21st century. In case you're wondering, these are language, listening, focus, context, decision-making, networking and performance. And if you'd like to know more, then get in touch with David or Michael and find out when they'll be doing this again. This week's podcast episode is an interview with Daryl Woodhouse about the importance of creating a life-work balance. Note the word order there. On Thursday this week, I recorded 2 new episodes, one with Matthew Priest from Forrester Boyd and another with David O'Brien from the Business Doctors. He's featured a lot in this week's Roundup, isn't he? Those episodes will be going out at the end of June and beginning of July, so listen out for those. You can listen to the Small Business Big Network podcast wherever you access your podcasts, or you can find it on my website, lizdrury.co.uk. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday for another Roundup.